Are you serious? What's going on in Pennsylvania? The demons of hell, the zombie apocalypse. I'm going to say it again. I mean, what do you want me to do? This is why God told me to write a book called Zombie Apocalypse. This is why I'm doing a new DVD called Zombie Apocalypse 2, because these demons are loose. The demons are loose. Anyway, we've got a situation, Pennsylvania, a horrific scene. July 5th, a young Pennsylvania man disappeared. 3 other men then went missing 2 days later. And on July 14th, 2 cousins were then charged with homicide and several other crimes after the missing men's bodies were discovered mutilated and buried in a farmland in Bucks County. Matter of fact, in spite of those 10 days, in the space of those 10 days, the county would gain notoriety as the scene of these grisly killings that stunned residents and investigators alike. Based on 4 separate criminal complaints, several court hearings, public statements, and other reports, here's what we know. Day 1, this guy, the guy in my thumbnail, the alleged killer, Cosmo DiNardo. Who? Cosmo DiNardo has been charged. Look at this. Jimmy Patrick was a 19-year-old college student who lived with his grandparents in Newton Township. He agrees at 6 p.m. to meet with Cosmo DiNardo, who was 20 years old, at a nearby location to buy 4 pounds of marijuana for $8,000. DiNardo has a history of mental illness. He struggles with schizophrenia, says Bucks County District Attorney Matthew Windrep. The year before, he was involuntarily committed to a mental institution, according to the Begley Police Department. Now, DiNardo was also known to local authorities and had over 30 contacts with the police since 2011. He was arrested in February and charged with possession of a firearm, which was illegal because of his mental condition, according to criminal complaints. Now, on this very evening, DiNardo picked up Patrick at his grandparents' home. They drive to DiNardo's parents' sprawling farmland location. He takes Patrick to a remote part of the property where Patrick says he only has $800. DiNardo offers to sell Patrick a shotgun for that amount of money, gives him the weapon, and then shoots and kills him with a .22 caliber rifle. DiNardo tells detectives later. DiNardo drives the property's backhoe to that remote location, digs a hole about 6 foot deep, and puts Patrick's body in the ground and buries him there. That's day 1. Day 2. Richard Patrick reports his grandson is missing. Day 3. Sean Kratz allegedly joined his cousin Cosmo DiNardo in a plan to rob some other local men. And acting on the missing a missing persons report, police say Patrick fails to show up for work at his restaurant in nearby Doylestown, Pennsylvania. So meanwhile, DiNardo sets up 2 other drug deals. According to criminal complaints, his first is Dean Finachero, another 19-year-old, this one from Middletown Township, and he sells him a quarter pound of marijuana for $700. Before the meeting, DiNardo picks up his cousin, Sean Kratz. Kratz is 20 years old, has a long criminal history with all of his arrests and charges related to thievery and burglary. Together, they decided that rather sell the marijuana to Finarco, who they robbed him. DiNardo gives his mother's Smith & Wesson .357 handgun to Kratz. The cousins drive to the guy's home, pick him up, bring him back to DiNardo's family property. And at the property, they shoot and kill him in the barn. And DiNardo wraps the man's body in a blue tarp and then uses the backhoe to place him in a metal tank that DiNardo calls a pig roaster, according to police. Later that same day, DiNardo makes plans to sell marijuana to another man, Thomas Mio, a 21-year-old from Plumstead Township. According to criminal complaints, Mio is with his friend and co-worker, Mark Sturgis, who's 22 years old, from Pennsburg. DiNardo meets with Mio and Sturgis, and they follow him to Mio's 1996 Nissan Maximus. A mobile license plate reader spots DiNardo's vehicle. After arriving at the house, Mio and Sturgis get into DiNardo's truck. They drive to the family farm again, where Krautz was already still there, the cousin. As Mio and Sturgis exit the truck, DiNardo shoots Mio in the back. DiNardo later tells police Mio collapses to the ground screaming. Sturgis tries to run away. DiNardo shoots at him, striking and killing him. DiNardo's then out of ammunition, gets in the backhoe and drives over to Mio, crushing him to death. DiNardo uses the backhoe then to pick up Mio and Sturgis, put their bodies in the same metal tank, the pig roaster, where they'd already placed the other guy, Fenario's body, in a blue tarp. DiNardo and Krautz then leave the farm without even burying these bodies of the three men. And later that evening, when they don't show up for work, they get put down in a missing report. So Mio and Sturgis failed to show up to work at their construction job. There's another missing report. In the afternoon, DiNardo and Krautz return to the farm with the backhoe, and they dig a 12-foot deeper hole where they bury the entire pig roaster containing the three charred bodies of the three men they killed. This all goes on, folks. This is the most insane. This is what I mean. This is why I wrote the book Zombie Apocalypse. Now, you can only find it at my website if you want to know, but here's why I say that. Because I have 35 counts of demonic criminal activity, cannibalism, guys biting people, superhuman strength, all kinds of bizarre demonic acts. And it's the return of Legion. The demons are loose. And in the last days, the Bible told us that we would see complete insanity and wickedness and the spirit of death everywhere. So it's a horrific situation that's going on around the world. You need to understand that the demons, that Hollywood is glamorizing the zombie apocalypse, but it is actually a demonic outbreak. It's the Black Awakening that Russ Dizdar talks about. It's the rising of the Antichrist. It's the precursor to hell on earth, and it's really coming to pass. Give your life to Jesus Christ. We're going to talk about it in our live broadcast today at 12 noon Eastern at my website at www.paulbegleyprophecy.com.